Hi, I'm Jenny from Happy House, and in this video I'm going to talk to you all about dog treats. Now, we are positive reinforcement trainers, which means that we mark and reward the dogs for good behaviour, and that means that we give them a treat. It can mean also play as well, but I find if your dog's willing and interested enough, that food is the easiest way to reward your dog. It depends on your dog to what they prefer to have. It also depends on their age, to what you want to kind of tempt them with or trial them with, but also the environment in which you're training might change what your dog finds interesting or not interesting or quite desirable at the time. So we kind of think about it in a pay scale. You might find that meat and cheese might be at the top of the pay scale, and the likes of carrot might be at the bottom. But your dog might be a Labrador that's happy to eat anything, anytime. But sometimes when your dog's doing something quite difficult, you might want to up the ante and pay them a little higher. You've just managed to walk past a kid with a low-lying ice cream at a beautiful heel, then hot dog might be the incentive to be able to do that in the initial training. Now, through my training, I do find that, well, the first stage I used with my puppy was actually the kibble in which she came with, and I would just hand feed her that. The problem with that I found very quickly was that she would take about 5 seconds per piece of kibble as she delicately broke it down with her teeth. You'll also find that dogs will train with their food at home quite happily in a low distraction environment, but in a higher distraction environment they might need more incentive. One of the ways I do come around this is that if I put some kibble in a bag and I've actually got some chopped up cheese in there, I find the cheese kind of infiltrates the kibble, and that's a good sort of alternative for our usual walks. If I'm just doing a recall and it was dead easy, then she can have a bit of kibble. If we're about to walk past sheep or other dogs, I might get the cheese bits out. I find that's a really easy way to have a decent treat regularly. Now, some of the other things I use, I really love this stuff. Now, this has been the basis of training with my little girl because I found that when we've been training a lot, it's really easy on the stomach. And this is Eden. It's semi-moist, so it breaks up very easily, and it's actually a very high quality dog food. This one's duck and tripe. The other one I use, super smelly, is wild boar and pheasant. And that's a massive favourite. One of the things I will say when you're training, especially if you're trying to train a new concept, making sure the water's always on hand, but the moist treat, especially if you go to classes or you're doing a class, I find a moist treat goes down easier. My saying is always, if you're on kibble for an entire dog class and your dog, say for example, you were doing the same, but I kept feeding you digestives, you're going to want a drink eventually. So softer, moister food I find goes down quite easy. Some dogs are quite happy to train on carrot. If you've got a hungry Labrador, for example, quite like the crunch of that, and it's a nice healthy alternative. Sometimes I mix that with a bit of apple as well, and that will go down really nicely as a training treat. Some dogs just like the process of getting fed, so that's a healthy alternative if you're trying to get some weight off your dog. So hot dog is a main staple for the dog training world because it's a really tasty, it's quite clean on the fingers, and it smells a lot. Most dogs will do quite a lot to work with a hot dog. Again, I'm always growing my thumbnails purely to break up dog treats. Cheese is another one. It's another one that I do use quite regularly, but I use it in small amounts. So we're talking really small tasters for a reward for a dog. And I don't obviously use that as much in large amounts. A couple of things that I don't have here is the likes of ham and turkey or chicken. Really easy on the fingers, super tasty for the dog, especially the likes of just cooked chicken breast. You might find that that's just really clean and easy for a dog, especially who's got a delicate stomach or putting on a little bit of weight. So other good quality stuff. One of which is the liver paste. This is super good stuff. I would save this for your most precious rewards. I've paired my whistle training recently with Hot Dog, and I'll also be pairing it with this, and also the other one I'll be pairing it with, and I have been, is Snack Portal, local business for me. Tasty lamb bites. So when little one's been learning the whistle, she's been getting a really, really good big reward. And at the moment, it's lamb bites. These are 100% meat, so it's easy in the dog's stomach. But one of these, and I promise you, will come back. If she knows at the end of the whistle she's going to get a good treat, then this is great. The other one I've been using for the Snack Portal is the lamb bites. I'll just open these up. Because I've actually bought these for my mum's dog, who's currently on a diet, so I thought they would be a good alternative. These are great. So small, super hard, nice and crunchy for the dog. 100% turkey meat, really, really good. Taste tested by my little dog. She loves them. Free Wills is another one I use. Again, semi-moist treats for when you're doing regular training. Are you training another one, another one, another one? Rep after rep. I find this really good. You can break them in half or quarters even if you've got a small dog. No wheat, no gluten. Again, we're trying to get some pure stuff into our dogs. Another one I bought more recently is these grain treats. They're quite hard and they're not easy to break up. Portion size, that's quite big for the pup, but again, they're gluten-free. They are not full of rubbish, because we're trying to keep our dogs on better stuff, so they're not too bad. Been quite good on walks, sort of training. And then we've got the other side of the scale, to be honest, and that's with the Chomping Chews. I've used these for dog walking for ages, but you think about how much they have within one walk, not that much. They smell quite a lot, which is one of the reasons why they work. Smelly food does definitely work a bit better. And you can break them up into small bits, and I found some very, very fussy dogs really like these. And these sort of things are all in proportion, in the same way that we treat ourselves and have a small amount of chocolate in a day. Small amount of not the best of treats is fine for your dog, especially if that's the thing that makes them recoil away from dogs in the park. Then that's what we'll use to start off with until we train the behaviour in. And then when we talk about treat training, people obviously worry about how much treat is going into the dog and that we shouldn't be rewarding them all the time. Now, if you're training them properly, you should be teaching them to do the behaviour but also phasing the food out, so you don't need the food in your hand for your dog to do the behaviour. And literally small amounts like this is all we need to do to reward the dog. You find that sometimes just a taster is fine. Some people think when we are training a dog that we're talking this. Now, I got given these, bless her, but these are quite a big treat. This is actually a top-up dinner for Muna when she's hungry. I wouldn't recommend them to many dogs. This is obviously quite high in wheat and it's definitely going to put weight on your dog. But again, we're talking treat. We're talking treat in the ways of keeping your dog occupied, everything in moderation, like any diet. So, super good girl, gets a Bonio. Again, she got one of these when Boris was talking on the telly the other night. So, the other one I use for this is Primula cheese, is another good favourite. So you can see there's lots of different variation. I started training my puppy and I can guarantee after 3 months of owning her, the amount of treat that's going in is a lot less already. But we've already got some really good understanding of the behaviour. Well, she has good understanding of the behaviours that we want from her, so we're not using as much. But I hope this gives you an idea of what when we say treat training, this is the kind of stuff we're looking at, and it doesn't have to be all expensive bags of treats. You can modify to what you want, but all online. Okay, so I hope that was helpful.